Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is a bonus episode, and I'm excited to let you know that we were able to have Tony Collins on the show. So Ben's going to let you know all about Tony Collins so we get it exactly right.
Awesome. So Tony Collins is a former Pro Bowl running back for the New England Patriots. He helped lead the team to their first Super Bowl appearance in 1985 at Super Bowl 20. He set the Patriots' single-game rushing record with 212 yards, which is still the record today, by the way. And then due to injuries, it led to a reliance on painkillers and down a path of drug abuse. Today, Tony is the founder of the Tony Collins Foundation and a motivational speaker, philanthropist, and author of the book Broken Road, Turning My Mess into a Message. And that's what he stopped by to talk about his book and talk about your book and and his whole story. So it was really a lot of fun to get to meet him and talk to him. And
yeah, and I was able to meet him at my son's school up in Rhode Island. He had come to the school to do a talk for the kids. And I heard his story and I was like, wow, like this guy has been through a lot. He's overcome a lot. He's risen above, and he really has a wonderful message. So, that always stuck in my head. And of course I got his book that day and read it. And I really was impressed with his story. And like I said, his message. And that's why I love the name of his book, Turning a Mess into a Message. That's just it's so perfect. And, he's all about being responsible for your own life and making choices to better your life, which I'm all about as well. So it was great to be able to get him on and to be able to share his story.
Absolutely. And then he ended up, also being a fan of your work and giving an endorsement for your book, which is a lot of fun. So, if you're interested in Glenn's book, check out glennambrose.com. There's links for everything there. We're getting very close to the launch date for the book, which is exciting.
Absolutely.
And all of Tony's information can be found out at tonycollinsfoundation.org.
Right. So check it out. And I guess at this point, we'll just fade right into the episode. Does that sound about right, Ben?
That sounds about right.
All right. Ben's the producer. I got to check this stuff with him. So, all right. Well, stay tuned. Check it out. And here it is.
So we're here with Tony Collins, ex-Patriot player. Now, I grew up in New England, so I'm a huge Patriots fan and have been my whole life. So this is a pretty exciting time for me. So welcome to the show, Tony.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I also got to see you speak along with my son. We both went to see you speak at his school in Rhode Island when we were up there. And I was really impressed with your talk, the message that you had, and what you were doing with your life now. So I'm excited to, speak with you one-on-one and really dive into it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You wrote a book called Broken Road, Turning Your Mess into a Message. So can you tell us a little bit about that? And
well, just give you a little background on me. I was actually born in Sanford, Florida, which is right near Orlando, and at a very young age, I think I was maybe not even 1 year old yet. We moved up to upstate New York, in a little small town called Penn Yan, about 50 miles south of Rochester, and it was 16 of us. And I was number 15. So we had a really big family, loving family. My mom and dad, we went to church every Sunday, and I was raised that way. I mean, I had the best life growing up as a kid because I had so much fun with all my brothers and all my sisters, and I had this big dream All my brothers played football. We all played all sports. We played basketball, baseball, ran track. We played all sports, but we all loved football. And all my older brothers, because I was the youngest. All my older brothers were we all dreamed about going into the NFL, and watching some of them and some of the different ways that they went, and they didn't make it. I was really kind of determined to make it to the NFL, and I talk about that your words have power, and one of the things that I went to my mom at a really young age, and I was like I think it was probably like 9 or 10 years old, playing Pop Warner football, and I said to her, I said, Mom, I'm going to make it to the NFL, just like that. And I didn't say I wanted to make it, I said I was going to make it. But not knowing what I was doing at the time, I was speaking my future into the present. I really believe that your words have power, and so I got to high school, really did really well in high school, and got the opportunity to go to East Carolina University. That's a whole nother story, how I got to East Carolina University. But I guess if we got time, I can tell you about it, because coming from a family of 16, I'd never been on an airplane before. You never get to ride on an airplane.
Right.
That many kids. So I never rode on an airplane before, and I got the opportunity to go to University of Florida my senior year in high school for a visit. And in high school you get 5 official visits, and my 4th visit was to the University of Florida, the Gators. And I mean, that's big time football from 1977, And went down there, man. Everything was fine. Really loved the atmosphere, the players and coaches, and their colors are orange and blue. My high school colors were orange and blue. So it's got to be a perfect fit, right? So I at that time, you could sign a letter of intent. I signed my letter of intent to go to University of Florida, and so I get back home, and this guy that you probably heard of before, named Pat Dye, who coached at Auburn, he was at East Carolina University at the time. And he calls me up and he says to me, he said, we see you have another visit to take. We would like for you to come down to East Carolina University. So this is like a week apart from going to Florida, being on the airplane for the first time. So my first question to him was, are you guys going to fly me down? And he says, yeah, we're going to fly you down. I was like, yeah, I'm coming, man. I can get on the airplane for a second time,
Right.
And had no intentions of going to East Carolina University at all. I'm going to Florida. I just wanted to get on the airplane for the second time. And I got down here and got down to ECU. And Pat Dye says 2 things to me. He says, son, if you come here, you'll get an opportunity to play, and you'll get an opportunity to play in the NFL. And when he spoke those words to me, immediately it changed my whole outlook, because at University of Florida, the coach, I can't even remember who the coach was at that time in '77, but he says to me, we want you here, we want you to play, but we may redshirt you your freshman year, because we've got a whole bunch of running backs right now, depending on how you do as a freshman. And so, I was cool with that, but Pat Dye said you'll get opportunity to play, and you get opportunity to play in the NFL. And I man, that right there just changed my mind. That just
lit you right up, huh?
It did, man. And that's why I talk about how his words that he spoke to me, they really had power. And I call home and tell my mom and my dad and my brothers, I don't want to go to Florida no more. I want to go to East Carolina University. It's like, are you crazy? You choosing East Carolina over Florida? And back then, East Carolina, man, it really wasn't on the map. I remember my father saying, I heard of North Carolina and I heard of South Carolina, but where in the hell is East Carolina? And so, but it all worked out. Got the opportunity to come here and did very well my freshman year, and played a little bit my freshman year, and my junior year. Man, we led the nation in rushing. We ran the wishbone, and I was averaging maybe like 7.6 yards a carry or something like that. Yeah, we were killing it, man. We had a lot of great running backs, and And just my senior year, got the opportunity to get drafted, man. And your dreams come true, and got drafted in the second round by the New England Patriots, and went on from there. And everything was fantastic. I was living the life. My rookie season, um, actually, my rookie season, and this how it kind of really got started for me. I was They really drafted me to return kicks because I returned kicks when I was in college. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I was third string on the depth chart for the Patriots in 1981. We weren't really a very good team, but at the beginning of the season, I was third string. I've never been third string before ever playing,
Right.
and I really didn't plan on being third string for the Patriots either. They just didn't know it. But I kept believing. I was first one on the field, last one off the field, first one in the weight room, last one out of the weight room. Getting the plays down, and just being prepared for my opportunity when it came. Didn't know when it was going to come, but I was going to be prepared when it did. And so I think like the second week of training camp, I had two guys ahead of me. It was Horace Ivy, who was the second string running back from Oklahoma, and Vegas Ferguson. He was the first string running back from Notre Dame. And I was the third string running back from East Carolina University. So I think like the second week of training camp, Horace Ivy, he pulls a hamstring and he goes down. And so now I move up to second string. So I'm still doing my thing, and I'm learning the plays. And last week of training camp, Vegas Ferguson twisted his ankle real bad, and he's out. And so I get the opportunity to start the very first game. Back then it was against the Baltimore Colts. I think I rushed for maybe 18 carries for 85, 90 yards or something like that. Had a few catches, and I was off and running, man. I never gave my job back up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the opportunity came, and I was prepared for it. And I mean, life was great. My second year there, I led the team in rushing. My third year, made it to the Pro Bowl. And then my fourth year, in the beginning of the season, in training camp, actually, I had cracked ribs, and I had the opportunity to. Well, I had a decision I had to make whether to sit down, which they told me that's what I should do, or I could keep playing with the cracked ribs and wear a vest and start taking these painkillers. And I chose the latter. I started taking the painkillers, and back then everybody was doing it. Because you want to play, you stay on the field, and I'm taking painkillers in the beginning of practice, the end of practice, beginning of the game, at halftime, and just getting cortisone shots in my side, and numbing it up, and after the game is over with, man, I'm in so much pain that I gotta. I got to take all these painkillers just to go get to sleep. And I actually got addicted to painkillers, and I was taking so many that it was actually tearing up my stomach. And you get nauseated, and you feel really bad, but you keep taking these painkillers because you got to keep playing, keep staying on the field. And one of the guys on the team introduced me to marijuana, and they said, "Man, you smoke some marijuana to take the nauseousness away from you." And sure enough, it did.
Yeah.
And so now,
Thanks, but yeah, it did.
Yeah. I'm popping pills and smoking marijuana at the same time, and it's just one thing led to another. And when you get in that kind of atmosphere, you start hanging out with people that you shouldn't hang out with. You start being places that you shouldn't be at. One of the things that my father used to always teach us was one of the keys of being successful was hanging around successful people, and I wasn't doing that, and it all came to a tumbling in after the Super Bowl. After we went to the Super Bowl, a lot of things came out, and a lot of guys, were doing things. My marijuana led to cocaine and smoking and all kinds of crazy stuff that we were doing back then, and I got caught twice, and the second time that I actually got caught, which was probably then after 2 years after the Super Bowl in '87, I think it was, the Patriots released me. One of the saddest days of my life, because of the decision that I made. And I talk about this to the kids. The life you choose and the decisions that you make is going to be determined how your life is going to turn out. And I was making bad decisions, man, and things started happening bad for me, and got released. I think maybe like 3 days after I got released, the Indianapolis coach, they picked me up. They picked me up and signed me, and I get to Indianapolis, and I'm on the phone. I'm not on the phone. I'm in the backfield with Eric Dickerson, and we think we got a really good team going on, and so. But now here's the thing. Before I get to Indianapolis, I had to go to New York and Pete Rozelle and meet the commissioner and everything. And he tells me, he says, we don't want you to fail, and so we're gonna drug test you every single day. Before they're randomly drug testing us. So they let me know they're gonna drug test me every day, and I've already got 2 strikes, and I have one more strike that I'm gonna get suspended for a whole entire year. So can't let that happen. So
Right.
and so and I know I'm getting tested, so I'm not gonna mess around. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna do anything to mess this up, because everything is going very well. I got motivated back again, and I'm not smoking, and not taking no painkillers, and everything is going really well. And got to training camp in Indy, and man, it was good. I was really having a great camp. In the second, I think it's the 3rd week of camp, there was a party. One of the nights that we had a game, and after the game, we had there was a little party, and I had a decision to make. I could either went back to my dorm, to my room, or go to the party. And I was like, I'm gonna go to the party. I know I'm not gonna get high or anything like that, and I know there's gonna be weed and everything else going on there, but I got to take a drug test the very next day, so I'm not gonna mess this up. And so get there to the party, and sure enough, they're smoking weed and doing other stuff, and I'm just sitting back on the wall, just chilling, and just admiring the view. You know what I mean?
Right.
So sure enough, I did smoke. Got back to my dorm, and woke up the next morning. Went out, took my test. Went out, had practice. Wake up the next morning, and Ron Myers was the coach then, and he calls me in his office, and he says to me, well, first of all, when he calls me in, I go in, and he's looking really, really sad, and I'm thinking something's gonna happen to one of my family members or something. What's wrong, coach? And he says, you've been tested for the 3rd time positive for marijuana. I was like, I didn't do it this time. But not knowing at the time that secondhand smoke, I was in the room where everybody was smoking marijuana, and it got in my system, and so I get suspended for a whole entire year from the NFL because of a choice that I made to go to a party. If I'd have went back to my dorm room, that would have never happened.
Right.
But, it's a choice life's all about choices that we make. And I made the choice to go to the party, and it kind of really changed my whole life. I mean, it really did, because it was when that happened, I was like, man, you know what? This is, I'm so embarrassed for my family and, myself. And, I had 2 kids at the time, and, you just you think you're going to be suspended for a whole entire year. Everybody knows about it. It was just, man, it was a deep depression that, I was going through, and set out that whole year, came back, got signed by the Miami Dolphins, played 1 year with them. But, my career was pretty much over because of my knees were getting kind of bad then. And I had played 8 years, and I just retired. I stopped playing, and I went through probably maybe 18 years of depression, man.
Wow.
Going through different things, marriages, and thoughts of suicide. Even tried to do it a few times, commit suicide, and it was just really. I was really in a dark place, really, really bad place at that time, and really kind of living through my son. My son was getting older; he was getting ready to go off to college to University of Pittsburgh, and I was really just trying to make sure that everything was right with him. But at the same time, I was kind of like dying on the inside, and
Right.
Got this job working for some little company. I thought I was going to be working with kids or whatever, but I actually wasn't working with kids. I was on the phone talking to the parents of the kids, and the kids were all over the country. And I'm living in Florida, and when I get a phone call. I got to tell you about this too. So because it's just crazy. It's about a choice. It's life's about a choice. So I get to this job on the very first day. Very first day on the job, and I think I'm going to be working with kids, but I'm not. I'm on the phone in this little booth, talking on the phone with parents of these kids, and so lunchtime comes, and before lunchtime comes, there's two other guys. There's a guy on the left of me, and there's a guy on the right of me, and it was their first day there as well. Man, we're sitting there answering the phones, and I'm talking to this one guy. I said, man, when lunchtime comes, I'm going to McDonald's. I ain't coming back. Forget about this. This is not what I want to do. Answering phones all day. So lunchtime comes, I go to McDonald's, and I get to McDonald's. I order number one, the Big Mac, order fries, and the high C drink. I think that's still on the menu today.
It probably is.
I'm pretty sure it is. But I get the lady gives me my high C drink, and I put my high C drink down in my cup holder, and I hear this voice, and it's just like I'm talking to you right now, and the voice says, "Go back to the job," and it kind of shakes me up, and I looked at the high C drink again, and I hear the voice again, and go back to the job, and it kind of scared me then, but I remember what my mom and my dad used to always tell us: when you hear a voice that you don't recognize and it's telling you something that you don't want to do, it could be the voice of God. Now I can't sit here and tell you that it was the voice of God or not, but I know I heard a voice. So
Right.
I go back to the job. I actually go back to the job, and the guy that was on the right of me, he didn't come back, and so I'm sitting there answering my phone, and his phone, the guy who left, his phone is ringing, and I don't even want to answer my phone, but I make this choice to answer his phone. A choice. I make this choice to answer his phone, and on the other end of the phone, there's this lady that's from San Antonio, Texas. I'm in Florida, and so we get on the phone, and I ask the lady, what's your son's name? He says, my son's name is Terrence Terrell, and I said, "Ma, that sounds like a football name." And she says, "Yeah, my son plays football," and she starts bragging on her son. Well, at the same time, I got a son going to the University of Pittsburgh, so I start bragging on my son, and we're going back and forth, bragging on our sons, and everything, and
Yeah.
And then the I don't know, the man in me came out as far as then I started flirting with her. I said, "Listen, I'm gonna give you my cell phone number, and I want you to call me back at the end of the day." And I didn't think she was going to call me back or anything like that, but she did. She called me back, and we started talking, man. And she did some research on me, because I told her who I was and everything. And she knew what some of the things that I had gone through. And then she started sending me all these great messages, emails, and different things from T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen, all kinds of positive messages. And we're talking on the phone probably maybe almost a month. I never got a chance to see her. She sent me some pictures of her, whatever. But I've never seen this lady before. But I actually fell in love with her over the phone because she changed my way of thinking. For those 18 years. Those 18 years that I was, going in and out, stay clean for a year, get high, stay clean for 2 years, get high, back and forth, and, really living a negative life. And she really changed my way of thinking because of what she did every single day. We would talk every day, and she would send me positive notes every day, emails. She would send that to me, and she actually changed my way of thinking. And, as and she's my wife today, actually. so
so it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly. I don't know how good it worked out for her, but it worked out very, very well for me. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, man, it was, and that's why I talk to kids. One person. It only takes one person to change your life. It only takes one choice to change your life. It only takes one decision that can actually change your life. And so, it's something that I love doing and helping kids. I really believe that God spared my life. I went through, like I said, the thoughts of suicide, overdose one time, and I'm still living. And I really believe the reason that I'm living is for me to share my story with other kids and other people. I really wrote the book. It was for the kids, but I see that not only the kids get a lot out of it, but older people too. Because things that I've gone through and how God allowed me to live and to share the things to other people, and it gives them hope and understanding that, man, you can make it no matter how bad it gets. And it got really bad for me. No matter how bad it gets, there's still a way out. There's still possibilities, but you just need to change the way you think, change the way you live, change the way you do things, and life can definitely turn around for you.
Yeah, that's it. And it's I can certainly relate to your story in the ways of change, because I mean, I kind of came at change the opposite direction. I think I had a lot of gifts and abilities at a young age, and I never attached to anything, and I never accomplished really anything in my life. And I was turning 30 and I was really depressed because now all of a sudden I'm looking around and I'm really understanding that I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And, and then and I always drank too much and partied too much, and that identity wasn't really too cool anymore, so
yeah.
There was no happiness inside. So I really, I went through my own series of trying to pull myself together, not finding happiness, diving back into drinking and drugs, and then waking up, getting sober, really finding God and through some spiritual awakenings through the process of getting sober. And it's, and my life has been different for the last 16, 17 years now, completely different. And it's so, I mean, I see it's interesting because you had a lot of success early on and then, dove into this. I dove into this, but we both ended up at the same place. There's such a gift in being able to change and do things. And I think if we're both out there, giving this message to people, it paints a really good picture that it's exactly what you said. It's making choices. It's deciding to do things differently and staying open to change and putting some energy and attention into changing your life. And you can do it. It's people look at you now and you've got your book and, talking to kids, you have your foundation, you've got your life back and you're really a benefit to society. And a lot of people would look at, point the finger and say, oh, Tony's lucky. Well, well, you're not really lucky. You put some attention to it. It's the same thing like when you were talking about preparing yourself for when you got the call. When you were playing football, you prepared, and then when the call came, you were ready, and you hopped on that opportunity. And I think same way. It's, if you stay open, you put yourself in the right places around the right people, make the right choices, all of a sudden things start happening that are good for you. And the people who aren't doing that point the finger and say, oh, they must be lucky. Like, no, you can do it too.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is, people talk about opportunities, man. You got to get opportunities. Well, I really believe that you create your opportunities. by doing the right things, by saying the right things and thinking the right things, and you create opportunities. Opportunities do come and go, but I truly believe that you create them by what you do in your life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's when I was making bad choices, I would swear that, I was unlucky and there was no opportunities. It's amazing how lucky you put in the work,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, your story is amazing. I mean, it's what I talk about a lot. It's just meeting people where they are. That's what I try to do with my podcast and my business is just meet people where they are and say, okay, where do you want to go? Let's get you there. And It doesn't matter how many mistakes we've had in the past. It just takes one time to get it right. And our whole life is propelled towards a positive future. So I think that's, it's amazing. And you're doing more wonderful work, as you carry on. Of course. Now, are you still speaking to kids?
Not as much as I used to. I'm really kind of focusing on the foundation. I run my foundation, and we do a lot for my little hometown back in Penn, New York. Helping kids there. One of the things that I want to do a lot is, helping kids get the opportunity to go off to college, and I think that's one of the biggest things now. Back in my hometown, where believe it or not, I mean, my hometown is really, really small, and they have a big epidemic with heroin and different things like that. But I really feel that if the kids get can change their way of thinking at a young age, and that's where it's hard to help someone. It's more I say not hard, difficult. It's more difficult to help someone when they're already out there doing drugs. But if you catch them before, I think that's one of the things that we call prevention. And I think that's one of the things where I want to do is let the kids know what I went through. You guys don't have to go through that, man. You can make good choices and make good decisions and go off to college and get a good education and come back and and work and make a whole lot of money, and you do whatever you want. You don't got to go the route that that I went, or the route that you went. You don't have to do that. And I really believe, just like like I said before, and with you too as well, at any point in our lives, man, we should have been dead. Drugging and drinking. There's no telling. There were so many incidents, and I put it in my book where I should have been dead. I mean, I really, really should have been dead, but I'm not. And so, why? And then you read about other people. Some guys, the very first time doing drugs, they overdose and they died. Like, why? Why am I still alive? So that's one of the things that I really take that kind of to my heart, where God spared my life for a reason. So it's something that I need to do, and and I just love helping kids. I love helping people. So.
Yeah, and I think you're right. There was lots of situations that again, your story in a lot of ways mimics mine, because I grew up in a small town in Massachusetts, and and there's drug issues in the town I grew up in now, and it's I think a big piece of it, which you're addressing with your foundation, is the hope. Because I mean, when you're a kid and all you see is people around you unhappy, not doing things with their life, doing drugs, especially the kids that are just a little bit older than you, going down that path, and a lot of people are doing it, and that's really most of what you see. It's hard to stay positive.
Right.
It's hard to have hope for something different than what you're seeing in front of you. So, it's with your message, I'm sure that, that's going to help those kids in that town really be like, okay, wait a minute, here's a guy that actually accomplished some amazing stuff, and he's telling me I can do it too. You know, that's powerful to kids, to plant that seed and give them that hope that they are in control of their future based on what they do, not based on their environment.
Right.
So that's beautiful stuff.
All right, guys.
Well, was there? Yeah,
that's basically it.
So here.
Yeah. So before we go, Tony, I just wanted to give you a chance to let people know where to find out more about the foundation, how they can help out with the foundation, where they can find your book, and all of that stuff.
It's TonyCollinsFoundation.org. You can go to that website. You can message me on that website as well. You can make donations on that website as well. You message me and I'll give you the information about trying to. If you want to get a book, you can also get a book from going to that foundation as well.
Look at that. It's easy in one spot.
Yeah, one spot.
That's the way to do it.
TonyCollinsFoundation.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. It was it was just as inspiring as when I heard you speaking with my son. So so I appreciate you coming on. We don't have too many guests on this show, so it's just a special honor to have you on. So I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Anytime you guys want me out, just let me know. I'll come on.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tony. Best wishes to you.
God bless, guys.
Yeah, God bless. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Glenn is available for life coaching sessions. To book an appointment or for more information, go to glennambrose.com, follow him on Facebook and Twitter, or click the link in the description of this episode.